right, well, we are live here at the MTN Philip Omondi Stadium, and as any convict would tell you, fresh out of jail, normally there are very few things that they desire. Number one, to have a good meal. Number two, to get back to winning ways. And that is the agenda for KCCA Football Club right here when they go back in front of their own fans after a dismal performance that they had against Luzira, the Maroons Football Club. Blacks Power is the team that is up next here for them. And boy, oh boy, must they find a result tonight, or else the clamoring that was a little mute last weekend turns to full volume. Very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the MTN Philip Omondi Arena for match day 6 between KCCA Football Club and Blacks Power, the newbies who also are in a turmoil of their own. It is a day where one must find a way to succeed. My name is Jermaine Egesa. John Vianney has a very quickie idea about this particular game that I want him to share. Vianney.
Yeah, of course, this one is a potential banana skin for KCCA Football Club. But I think that it's a kind of game that they come into with a bit of belief and ease that they can actually overcome this banana skin and register the 3 points. Because you look at Blacks Power itself, they've really struggled in the Uganda Premier League. The champions of the Football Big League 2021-2022 have really found wins hard to come by. They're yet to score away. Rather to win a game this season. In the 5 that they've played, they've lost 3 and drawn twice. 1 home draw, and of course both draws have been at home. Yet to pick up a point away from home. So you feel that for KCCA, they'll come into this game feeling that this is the kind of game where they can crank up a cricket score.
Probably even more worrying here for Blacks Power and the Blacks Power fans who actually play their game in Lira is the fact that when they lose, it's not slim margins, it's heavy. And tonight, Coach Mole Biekwaso deciding to throw up his A game. Kakonde is a man who has to redeem himself, shirt number 21, with the performances they have had. But Alan Okello will be the man tasked to make sure that he can supply him. And as always, Kasim Rogers Mato will be the dark horse they anticipate to save them.
Well, the thing is that for Coach Mole Biekwaso, his team has struggled quite a bit when it comes to creating chances. And I think it has had a lot to do with the bit of the imbalance. But you can see that he's probably trying to sort out that imbalance issue by bringing in Mohamed Kagwa. That's putting on shirt 6, Mohamed Kagwa and Rogers Mato on the right side to provide the real team balance, and with Alan Okello playing in that number 10 and Ashraf Mugume with the Arafat right there behind him.
Well, for Blacks Power, they will rely on their Mercurico captain Michael Siwu, a set-piece, a dead ball specialist as per any. But other than that, it's a team that really needs to dig itself out of the jeopardy that they are earlier on setting themselves for.
Yeah, of course, they know that they've got to get the points if they are to build some bit of momentum, but also believe that they can stay in the Uganda Premier League, because the start has looked anything but good enough to suggest that this is a team not already cooked.
Well, the referee for tonight is the man known as Sali Mashoud, and will be the gentleman that officiates this one with Ronald Katenya, Marlex Nkumbi, and Amon Ainebiona. Referees coming under a bit of scrutiny of recent, but you do anticipate that if anyone has their A game tonight, it's the man that tends to put on his lucky red boots, Sali Mashoud.
Yeah, definitely he's probably one of the best referees that we have. But that lady in the picture, Malex, I thought that in her last game, the one between Express and Gaddafi, some 2 big calls that she got wrong, and they decided the game. I thought that of the goal that Express scored and even the goal that was the equalizer for Gaddafi, both of them were controversial in the sense that they were offside.
Big support here for Mole Biekwaso, a former player of KCCA Football Club. A bit embattled, a bit worried here. But as the fans do point out, captain for life. Big name, big reputation. Currently troubled. Can he steer them out of the dark waters?
Well, the thing is that it all depends on how this team applies itself today, because the work that is put in at the training ground has got to be showcased here, and it has got to be a performance from KCCA, because they're playing against a team that is just promoted to the Uganda Premier League, who are there for the taking, because they probably would not have the same kind of quality.
Well, here's a man who definitely knows a thing or two about promotion and wears his heart on his sleeve. Hussein Balangu. Last season, we saw him start with Mbarara City. It didn't end in, well, as they would prefer to say here in Uganda, it ended in tears.
Yeah, of course.
He's back here with Blacks Power.
Yeah, but you remember that his last visit here to KCC, he was in a situation with Mbarara where Mbarara could easily have got some points from the game. They lost that game just 1-0 following a Herbert Ochai early strike. But overall, they put up a good performance, just that they lacked a bit of belief to try and get back into the game. I thought that scoring was their problem. Now, again, he's handling a team that needs a lot of inspiration and needs a lot of confidence to actually get off to a flying start.
Well, in case you were wondering why the game was not getting underway, precision is one of the things Salim Mashoud prides himself in. So at exactly 4 p.m., the game between Blacks Power, who are visiting KCC, gets underway. KCC in the yellow and blue, while Blacks Power are in the orange and black. My name is Jermaine Egesa once again. John Vian Simbe is with me in the commentary booth. And this is the Startimes Uganda Premier League, proudly brought to you by MTN, the official broadcast sponsors, right here on SANYUKA Prime. And KCC getting the game earlier on into the foray with some slick passing, but there's a foul there and the referee already giving away a free kick. Just looking at some of the substitutes here for Blacks Power, Dickens Okwi and Ali Muchibi, some of those that you probably would want to point out as notables that will be coming in, as well as Emmanuel Odongo, might be needed later on in the game. But can they stave off the early attack that KCC promised they would deliver?
Yeah, the thing is that you look at Blacks Power, they signed quite a number of players from Onduparaka Football Club and also from Gaddafi. You look at Onen Franco, you remember him in the midfield for Gaddafi Football Club. And then they brought in Baden Mujahid, who also played for Onduparaka and had a relatively good season for Onduparaka. He's on the bench today. And you think that with him there, those are the kind of options that can come off the bench. But the kind of struggles they've had have not suggested that they've got some bit of experience in their ranks.
Well, a long ball played forward here and quickly chased down by KCC, picking up possession here and not wasting it. Good play here coming in from Mustafa Mujurizi, Ariel on getting on to Ashraf Mugume. The ball goes out, and just looking at that particular bench.
Look at that bench, so rich.
Derek Ochan, Julius Poloto, the captain, Charles Luanga, Moses Waiswa, Emmanuel Waswa, Daniel Isiagi, and a man we talked about earlier on, right there at the edge of your picture, the Marshal, John Revita. Big question, why is this man not starting games?
That's the kind of the conundrum I think that KCC faces. You have such a quality player, because I think that looking at the players that are at KCC, you look at this man here, John Revita, one of the most gifted footballers that you find in this country. To be on the bench, for me, is a real embarrassment.
Cool and calm as a cucumber on any day, a starter in any other team. But at KCC, maybe talks about the wealth of talent that they have, that they can afford to have the Marshal John Revita starting on the bench.
Well, the thing is that the last game away from home, actually before the one against Maroons in Luzira, the game at Arua Hill, he appeared to struggle a bit. Okay, it wasn't only him, the entire defense struggled. And the belief was that him and Geoffrey Washup, they play a similar game, good on the ball, very good at passing out of the defense, but they felt that maybe they needed somebody that was like a Mulonde, international centre-back, somebody just man-marking and knocking bodies and making it very uncomfortable for the strikers. So I guess it's the one that has been sacrificed to have Mustafa Mujuzi, who is the more aggressive centre-back, coming into the team. So I guess you'll understand maybe where Mole so finds himself in a bit of a spot of bother.
Well, Tony Chamera trying to direct his wall right now as Alan Okello, the gifted one, tries to set up a pass here, delivering a beautiful free kick in here. A bit of a clearance, miss error and a chance here, but the ball just goes away. Blacks Power are really, really dicing with the devil right now.
Yeah, you can see that they're really disorganized in that defense, and I feel that for Ahmed Amayo, who is one of the key guys mentioned in that defense, a former Vipers player, and was at Onduparaka last season. Like I said earlier on, this team got in so many players from Onduparaka, and even some of the administrative staff. The CEO of Onduparaka, Saba, left Onduparaka and is now at Black Spurs. So I feel that they are still lacking in a bit of cohesion. The organization generally as a team is still lacking, and that's something that you feel that Coach Hussein Mbarangu has a lot of effort to put in to try and organize this side, because clearly you can see that that opportunity that had been created for Chisungu Kankonde just continues to suggest that this is a team that is lacking in organization all throughout the squad.
Well, there's a freak throw in here coming up for Daniel Otim. Delivers a long ball in. It's quickly condensed here by the defense. Mustafa Mujuzi gets it back to the captain, Benjamin Ochan, who sets it on for Waswa Geoffrey. Geoffrey Waswa. Once again, Brian Majwega playing in the unfamiliar territory of left back. A question that also needs to be addressed sooner than later. His better abilities are going forward, or at least that's what we have seen. We might not have been party to what we've seen on the training ground, but maybe, just maybe, he's a better asset up front than in the left back position.
Well, that was said, of course, a lot, but I think the whole problem was that he struggled a bit in the forward positions last season in terms of creativity, and I guess that's the reason why the coach decided that he probably would be better playing with distance from the back as opposed to playing in a tight area where you've got to dribble past opponents and also create and then also rely on pace and also create chances. And I think that last season, you look at Majwega playing in that forward position as a number 11, he struggled quite a bit, and the decision by Molebeka to get him a little further behind probably is one that is intended to protect him from the deficiencies that he seemed to have last season as a winger.
Dennis Iguma quickly dispossessed, and now Black's Power are in ascendance, but very few or very limited options here, and a swift turn but maintaining possession and brought down. The referee says carry on. Good play coming on from Bronson Subuga.
But you wonder why he was not releasing his teammate there, Faisal Mwau earlier. He seemed to hang on to the ball like he was the only person on the field, and just feel that that was not a wise decision by him.
Racing forward, KCC Football Club, Kakonde, a man with a point to prove as well in this particular game as he gets the ball fed out here, looking for support coming in. 1-2, Sama Arafat tried to get the ball in, but the goalkeeper picked that one up easily. And now Black's Power getting their game plan sorted out. Fitting the ball through, but hefty clearance. That one will definitely go well beyond the field perimeters as we look at some of the legends that adorn the KCCA Stadium, better known as the MTN Philip Omondi Stadium. Godfrey Katerega, Sam Simbwa were the ones in that particular background. Quite a number of names. Molevi Ekwaso is also one who has his name up on the boards. But can he do better and deliver a title that has been long missing from KCC? They try to get the ball in, but the referee feeling there was a bit of shoving in there, and will have to cut that one out here for a set piece for Black's Power.
Well, from what we've seen in the first 8 minutes, Jermaine, I think it's always imperative for any team that wants to win a game to start well. And of course, I know teams can start poorly and still end up winning games. But I don't think we've seen much from KCC as a home side, as a team that is really geared up to ensure that they can win the game this afternoon. I just don't think that we've seen much from them in terms of how they've started the game. I don't know what you think.
Well, for the moment, you could say they're probably just getting into their element, but that's one thing I might dare say, John Vianney Simbe, if we've looked at the seasons prior, the team that gets out of the blocks running normally is a team that has a big say how the title ends. Vipers last season kicked off like a house on fire and did not relent. I do not want to give anyone hope and false ambitions, but Bull FC is the only team I literally see that right from the first minute is clicking from gear one.
Yeah, of course, Bull FC just won their last game against Onduparaka over, that was on Tuesday. So rather on Wednesday. And of course, they top the table right now because of the wins. So you get a feeling that counting on also the performance that they put up last season in winning the Uganda Cup and playing on the continent, they probably have some new confidence that they did not have last season, and that could play a big part in determining how well they play also this season.
Arafat Usama is the man that definitely tries to make things happen. In the meantime, someone is definitely letting people know 18th December is a big day for them. Well, maybe Vianney and I will be asking at halftime what exactly is happening. Maybe
that's the World Cup final day. Huh? That's the World Cup final day.
Yeah.
We could be in Qatar, you know, by all.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, after all, why not? I will be carrying John Vianney and Ian Mutenda's bags, and the chance comes up here, but poor control. Rogers Kasim Mato, the dark horse.
Yeah, scored in their last win here against Vipers. But when you look at the way they started against Vipers, I thought that they started with a lot of energy. KCCA.
And he gets onto the ball once again, trying to feed the ball up to Kakonde. But the ball is easily cleared away. And Blacks Power managing to get themselves back into play. Now here comes Bronson. Nsubuga setting the ball up here. There could be a chance coming up here for Blacks Power squaring the ball. But that was without any particular plan. It was just a bit of place and hope. Could have done better. It was a brilliant opportunity.
Yeah, it was. I thought the pass there coming in from Kankone, and of course Geoffrey was very, very lazy there. That was poor defending by him, not running after the ball. But you look at the pass they are coming in, the idea was right, but there were no bodies in that penalty area. And for Blacks Power, this is a big indictment on them, that if you're going to win a game, if you want to pick the scalp of KCC, you need to dare, you need to believe, you need to get into that penalty area, and they're not doing that. So it's only Michael Siu and of course Faizo Muawu in that penalty area with just 2 against 5. It's difficult for them to get any space to run into and capitalize on the chances created.
At some point, they'll definitely have to pay attention, and maybe that may be the task for Dennis Iguma. Michael Siwu is not the kind of person, the man on the ball right now, you want to give any space near the box area. He has a lethal deft left foot that can literally sing on its own.
Yeah, that's true. And we know that he did quite well in the big league, being one of the top scorers there, and also considered the best player in that league last season. So, but we are yet to he has only got 1 goal this season to his name, and you still feel that he's yet to really show that he's a player of quality in this top division.
Need I say, this was a guy who literally was on a song. If I'm not mistaken, 8 set pieces that he directly scored. I'm looking forward to what he can bring to the Startimes Uganda Premier League this particular season. If he carries on in the same form.
So is everybody, by the way.
If he carries on in the same form, Coach Micho may actually have one of his problems ticked on his boxes for the national team. Set pieces.
And again, KCC yet to get into any sort of rhythm here in this game. And I think this works perfectly for Blacks Power, who are the underdogs here. You would imagine that they come into this game with a bit of pressure. But seeing how KCC has started, I don't think that there is anything for Blacks Power to fear.
Joris Mustafa, one of the players there that is getting a bit of touches. And now here comes Brian Majuega, trying to carry the ball forward. Gets a bit of a 1-2 with Mustafa Mujuzi. As the ball is knocked up front here. Nice control, but unable to bring it up front. Once again, darting in and out there. Usama Arafat is literally putting himself in a very good position, and Benjamin Ochan picks up the ball. He's one of those players, him and Ashraf Mugume, I think have literally become linchpins of this team. They just have that X factor around them that technically marks them for greatness.
Yeah, that's true. And you think that all they need to do is show some more consistency, which is still lacking in their game.
Long ball brought in, and the ball is cleared away. And unable to get that one in touch. For the moment, you would not be wrong to think that Usama Arafat is playing as the shadow striker here. Just consistently darting behind Kakonde. And he needs to find a way to make himself a little more pertinent. Here comes Faizo Muawu, darting the ball up and now letting it settle for a nice one for Dennis Otim. Loses possession, but easily picked up by Bronson Nsubuga. Nsubuga Bronson squares the ball in. A chance here, and a shot and a save! Blacks Power teeing themselves up Oh, KCC! KCC, why are you dicing with the devil?
That was good play coming in from Bonson, beating his two markers there. A bit of lazy defending there coming in from Muhammad there, Kagwa. And I thought that I could have easily stopped his man, but I guess that's also the problem for Muhammad there, is that he's playing in a natural position, being played as a defender. He's probably not used to being in that kind of situation of having to tackle and all that. Then you see Bronson squares it and it finds Mike Siu, who struck it so well, but good goalkeeping there coming in from the experienced Benjamin Ochan. You only hope that he hasn't hurt himself so badly.
Well, already warming up here, Derek Ochan. That could be cause for worry, especially with just how vocal that man, Benjamin Ochan, is in those sticks. Of course, Derek Ochan presents a very viable option in those sticks, but that might actually contribute to maybe later on having Revita come in. That vocal presence, that command of the defense is something that is quite valuable to this team. And there you go, instantly in command, the skipper as he is.
Well, the thing is that the way KCCA has started this game seems to have given Black Spire a bit of confidence now. You can see that they're getting into the penalty area. All they need to do is to believe, because I think that KCCA has not offered much to suggest to this Black Spire team that they should have any bit of fear.
Well, ball brought in, and still another chance here for a second bite of the cherry. Ball flicked in, clearance, rebounds, ricochets off, and Subuga Bronson sets the ball up. Michael Siwu looking for a twist and a turn in space. Ooh, by what? Ooh la la. That very, very nearly would have been a big problem here.
Well, that was good interplay coming in from Black Spire. I haven't seen them have that phase of play where they exchange 3-4 passes, and at that time I felt that they actually did it quite well and they opened up KCC. And if only Faizo Mwau had got to that ball, then you think that would have been an opening for them to try and get a goal. And you can see that they're really getting some bit of confidence, Black Spire.
Which begs the question as a shot is fired in, but not anywhere on target. So Tony Chamere will not have quite a problem handling this one. But which begs the question, Von Vianney Simbe, if Black Spire is this capable of such good play, then why are they almost at the foot of the table?
Well, it's very simple. You know, when teams get promoted, they get into this stage, and the first game that they play is normally going to determine how well they play the rest of the season. That 5-0 walloping that they suffered at the hands of Bull seems to have shaken them into feeling that maybe they are not ready for this stage, and that's why you can see that there's a bit of self-doubt in the way they play. You can see that they're tentative, even when they're playing against a team that is yet to really hit the ground running like KCC has shown in these early exchanges. Yet you feel that if they had actually started off with the belief that they can actually get a result in this game, then probably they would have got even a goal already by now.
17 minutes of the game played so far. KCC nil, Black Spire nil. We're live at the MTN Philip Omondi Stadium. It is the Startimes Uganda Premier League, and it's live and direct right here on the new home of the Startimes Uganda Premier League, SANYUKA Prime, live and only on Startimes, channel 238 on satellite, channel 251 on the antenna, and of course on the Startimes own app. Kakonde, one of the few recruits here, as Mole Biekwaso, still sticking to his man and hoping that he will eventually vindicate him. A couple of the fans really turning on him with the last performance that they had. That missed penalty must have dented his confidence, and if anything, he's one player that needs that shot of confidence in the arm to carry on this particular season.
Yeah, certainly he needs that. That's no doubt. He needs that. Kankone being in a new territory, you could say very different environment from where he's been playing previously. Then you can clearly see that he needs that bit of a shot in the arm, somebody to wrap their arm around him and tell him that, you know what, you can do it.
Possession, Mohamed Kakawa. As a long ball is floated in, that's going to be easy pickings here for the goalkeeper, Tony Chamere, sorry. And now tosses the long ball out, looking to build on this one. Simon Opio squares it out here, looking for Ronald Musana. Tries to float a long ball there. I think the intended target was Michael Siwu, the captain. That was a little bit ambitious. The ball is easily picked up here. And now Here comes Majwega Brian. Setting it in, trying to roll off here. 19 minutes, and I could still say quite a very average game, especially worrying for those who are fans of KCC. By now, surely we should have seen Alan Okello do something in the game. By now, surely Ashraf Mugume should have made his presence felt. By now, surely a shot here continues to come in from the man, Usama Arafat, who by and large is the only KCC player who is available today.
Well, the thing is that from what we've seen, that's a very good attempt coming in now from Arafat Usama. He just needs to get his bearings right and direct that ball better. But you see, they just can't keep grasping at moments. They need to play. They need to show that this is a team that has been well grilled throughout the week, and they've been training and they've been working out certain patterns. But you don't see that from this KCCA side. And that makes it easy even for a team that is an underdog like Black Power, if you play against a team that is clearly looking disjointed like KCCR.
Ahmed Kagawa gets the ball on Alan Okello. He's quite capable of breathtaking moments there, Alan Okello, as he displayed here when they did take on Vipers Sports Club. Left people trailing in his wake. For the moment, it looks like his coach has a few things to point out for them. Interestingly, both managers have not sat down in the last 20 minutes. He just talks about the pressure and what is at stake in this game. And Hussein Mbarangu, not happy with that particular call. Seems to go quite gaga.
There's a bit of confusion here on what exactly happened there, because he seems to suggest to the referee that there was an earlier incident that you didn't call where his player was fouled. But now this is a moment for KCC. You feel that with Kankonde, then this side here, Black Power have got to be on the lookout, because that size of Kankonde, if that ball gets well onto his head and he directs it, then it could be quite a problem for them.
The long ball is brought in. They just managed to evade the danger there in the moment. And Black Power keeping it just in play, lobbing a long ball forward, but only to the feet of Brian Majwega. Excellent control there, that fast, deft touch that he has. It's something that you can't teach. Either you have it
or you don't.
I wish I could say you can buy it, but you can't. Priceless. Now here comes Alan Okello, putting in a beautiful shift as well. Now looking to cut the ball. Oh my goodness. And that will be a sign for worry, because Alan Okello there for the moment just looked like something snapped.
Yeah, it seemed like he was clipped on the ankle there as he was trying to beat his marker there, that is Opio there, but you wonder whether it's not as bad as that, or rather it was Oto. Or did he just actually place his foot wrongly as he was trying to dribble past, and I didn't see anything much from Oto there. And but I think that he can run it off. Oh, he seems to be limping again.
Moving a little
gingerly. Yeah, that's true. And of course, you're talking about Revita missing in this game, but also Moses Waiswa is on the bench. Kind of interesting, isn't it, that to find that even Moses Waiswa can't find a starting place against Black Power.
The man from the call center, Moses Waiswa, whose normal line is, "How may I assist you?" He's not in this game. And let's be honest, KCC needs someone to assist with those goals today. Probably this should have been the game tailor-made for him.
Yeah, exactly, and especially to boost his confidence, because I'm beginning to wonder whether KCC really needed Guma to start in this game, because you already have the 4 defenders, or you probably would have rather had Moses Waiswa playing in the middle there as the holding player to direct play, to coordinate and dictate play from deep, and probably that would have given them a little more than what Dennis Kuma is giving them at this particular time, because I just don't think that this team here, Black Power, is asking so many questions for them to have defending so much at the back of their minds.
Talk about Moses Waiswa. Someone actually gave me a very funny joke about him when he was down in South Africa. One of those man of the match performances that he put in, and as they were going to interview him, the first thing he said is, "How may I assist you?" Ball taken away, chipping it up front here now, trying to race forward. Here comes KCC Football Club, looking to get into some space. Rogers Kasim Mato, the dark horse, skips away, sets the ball in, teasing, taunting, looking for support. Unfortunately, the space quickly closed down here, and KCC had just created a moment of amazement, something that literally had some of the fans outside our commentary booth on their feet. That is vintage Kasasiro boys.
Yeah, that was a good counter-attack, but you've got to look at where the play started from, and that was actually Mugume. Once he got the ball from outside his area, he just lobbed it over the top behind the defense, and an opportunity for Rogers Mato, and that's what he enjoys most, running behind defenses. And he seemed to have broken through, and he set it up, but then again, the flooding back defenders of this Black Spar just took the ball away.
Ball floated in from the corner here. It looks like it takes a touch, and that should be a throw-in for this team, KCC Football Club. Hussein Balango is literally conducting every play in this game.
And you've got to credit him, because for his team to be still in the game without conceding a goal after 24, 25 minutes, you've got to give him credit. I think Black Spar have acquitted themselves well enough, especially defensively, and they've even got some good chances to score.
But isn't that a damning conviction on KCC Football Club, especially given the fact that they have not exactly been the epitome of magnificence this particular season?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that for Black Spar to be playing as well as it has, keeping them at bay, then you've got to say that KCC need to really step up. Interesting
here, Baden Mujahid coming in after 25 minutes. And Ronald Musana coming off and taking off the shot. Something, that's a story that needs to be told. We need to dig into that one at halftime. I'm not so certain that is an injury, but with the fact that he's even taken off the shot before he gets to the bench, there might be a bit of a disagreement between him and the technical team. That's a story that needs to be dug into.
Well, the thing is that Ronald Musana, a former KCCA player, I think that the coach must have expected him to do a lot more on the flank side, because he's such a speedster and stretching the defense. But I don't remember him having a run at the KCCA defense since this game started. So maybe that's the reason why the coach has taken him off. And there your man again, Mike Siu, again really struggling, and he's not yet had any impact in this game. A bit disappointment. His return for the team.
Well, Kakonde goes to the ground, and Bronson Subuga totally in his element tonight.
Now that run by Mike Siu, really not the kind of run that you should be making at this level, because he should have read that pass that was coming in from Bronson Subuga. But still, you could see that he was laboring to get into position.
Long ball forward for KCC Football Club. Rogers Mato clipped on the ankle there, and that should be a free kick coming up here for the KCC Football Club. 26 minutes and still looking for an opening in here. Ronald Musana had the double task of playing as a wing back, but also as an attacking wing back, and doesn't look like he got his notes right. So Baden Mujahid, the man right there, having a discussion with the referee, who for some reason today forgets his red boots and is all in black. Normally the red boots are one of his signatures here. Yeah. It's just him and one other, I think, what's his other name? What's his name?
Sabila.
Sabila. Those are the two who tend to put on the red boots. But today I think he lets Sabila do the shine and he sticks in the black. Free kick coming up for KCC Football Club. Decent opportunity there. Kakonde, as always, with his frame and height and aerial ability, will be a worry here, as
they're planning to bend it straight into the goal.
Oof, trying to get it there, a bit blocked off, and well, hit and hope. Well, you can only hope. If you don't hit, you don't accumulate. And Mugume Ashraf staying true to that particular notion, except that this time the accumulation was nothing to write home about.
Yeah, that was a good opportunity for them, just near the goal, just bend it over and direct it towards Kankonde, and maybe that could be an opportunity for you, but then they still did not use it well as a team, KCC.
Dark clouds gathering here, and it could be about to pour any time. And we mean literally as the weather, and not in the goals yet, because neither team has showed any intent of being the outstanding one. You could even be tempted to say maybe Black Spar are punching above their weight.
Yeah, that's true. And well, from what they've done so far, it's not the most impressive, but I think they've held their own. They've really held their own in this game, and they have kept KCC at bay, because if you look at the opportunities, we remember that back then KCC by this time would be tearing teams apart, opening them up like a knife through butter. But this afternoon, we haven't seen that. But even in the game against Vipers that they won, you still felt that, yes, they scored that early goal, but overall, I don't think that their play was the kind of vintage performance that we've known KCC to be about over the years. Well, at least in the last few years since 2015. If you look at that time, between 2015 and 2020, KCC used to be that kind of team that by this time you walk into this ground and they have already killed the opponents and left them for dead. Now, that kind of pass there by Ochire. Just don't understand how he could play that ball back into his defense area. Just that he found Kankonde not attentive enough. Otherwise, another player would have pounced on that and got himself an opportunity to score.
Well, the half-hour mark approaching here, and still goalless in this game between KCC and Blacks Power, which, by the way, is our final game for live broadcast on match day 6. And match day 7 will be coming up soon, and you can definitely believe that these games and many more all season long will be live here on SANYUKA Prime, the new home of the Startimes Uganda Premier League, channel 238 on satellite, 251 on antenna, and on the Startimes own app, available at your disposal anytime, anywhere. Step over there from Blacks Power. It's trying to sprinkle a little stardust on their abilities here. And KCC, for one reason or another, seem beguiled by their ability.
Yeah, I just feel that they've failed to get out of Gear 1, and they still keep the tempo very low. They seem to be playing with a lot of thought in their game. They're quite ponderous, and they're not really asking Blacks Power many questions.
Ball picked up here by Blacks Power. Nothing talks precision in this game. Nothing talks clean cut. Nothing talks clinical yet. It's graspings, it's early raspings. The sound that would literally come out of a tuberculosis ward. Spasms. Nothing intensive.
And I can see that attempt there by Kankonde seems to have been stopped by an infringement from Blacks Power. Gives KCC an opportunity to try and test the goalkeeper. You only hope that they can test the goalkeeper from this kind of range. I guess the best option here, who was normally done well and free kicks, would have been Mustafa Mujuzi. He used to take them for pro line, but he seems to have moved away, and instead Rogers Mato has gone to the ball. And I don't know Rogers Mato for being a good free kick taker, but
he does have a deft shot, but I'm not so sure it's that clinical. Now,
well,
looks like Kankonde will want to try his luck.
Yeah, he took a rasping shot, I remember, in the opening game of the season against Wakiso Giants, and the goalkeeper, it sort of like came off the crossbar, so maybe he's not that bad.
Kankonde, just not on target, but decent attempt, decent by all means.
Yeah, but he needed to test the goalkeeper. I just think that for the KCCA fans, they've really not seen much coming from their side in terms of the attacking third. And I think that Kankonde should have at least tried to force a save from the goalkeeper to really give the fans a bit of sense that, yes, there's some bit of growth in this game.
As they try to get the game on here, KCC, and looks like Brian Majuega now going to the advanced position as a cross is in, and the goalkeeper. Ooh, that's a corner. But Kankonde once again showing the threat that he poses in the air. So agile, so tall, very difficult to handle in the air. And Hussein Mbalango feels the court is now derailing him.
Yeah, of course, I don't think that he needed the court with the hit in there.
Long ball in, nodded down. Is a clearance here for Blacks Power. Still begs the question why KCC are fashioning out chances but not being ruthless enough. They need that streak of cold blood in them. They just don't have it. And begs the question for many, when does the rainmaker Shaban Mohammed return for them? Because clearly that's one player who has a mean streak up front. And for the moment, they could really deal with someone of that kind.
But the thing is that I think it just can't even depend on just one player. I think as a team, they need to have some bit of cohesion, and that's something that is purely lacking in their game. Because if you look at even the chances that they've had, they are really not really what you'd call those clear-cut chances. They seem to be just, you know, trying to feed on crumbs there, but you don't see them really opening up Black's power and creating moments where you feel that that surely should be a goal. That's something that is really lacking in this KCC game. And yet, when you look at their squad, they really have good players on that team. These are really quality players, but somehow you don't see them playing well enough.
We're just about 11 minutes away from the halftime, and Benjamin Ochan will not be blamed for his pass here, urging his teammates to settle down and let the game simmer out here. In the meantime, there, Ashraf Mugume has had a couple of stellar moments in this particular stadium, and is one of those who potentially is a match winner. To be honest, many of his goals have actually been match winners every time KCC plays.
Yeah, that's true.
Getting the ball on, trying to hold on to possession here. Nice square pass, Michael Siwu, and he just gives it away blindly.
He's really struggled in this game, and it really belies his potential. I think clearly with the name that he's wearing on his shirt, I think that the owner of that, the original owner of that name, would be embarrassed to see a guy wearing the same shirt name and can hardly control the ball or even dribble past an opponent. And I think his performances have really looked poor this afternoon.
Michael Power Siwu, as he's popularly known down at the John Akibua Stadium.
Well, his shirt name is Baguio. Moment of silence for you there?
Speechless. Absolutely speechless.
So we should leave that subject and move on to something else.
Yes, clearly yes. Just so that Baguio, who is actually watching the Startimes app, does not think I was part of this conspiracy. Ball brought through, passing it on, the captain here, Simon Opio, gets the ball up front, Bronson Subuga. Well, that's a person who now has a ponytail at least. We could start there.
Okay.
And he's showing bags of potential, at least. We could go there. Yeah, and that's as far as we shall go.
Yeah, exactly. Although you still feel that also he has a problem with his decision making. He wants to really hog that ball all the time he has it. He wants it to remain at his feet. And I just don't think that it helps his team's cause. He needs to release the ball. And for me, the disappointment also with this Black Spar team is why they're playing so narrow. It just doesn't make sense for me with the kind of formation. Of course, Siwu, they're trying to play with a 4 with the 2 number 10 Siwu and of course Bronson. Somehow they really look narrow.
Well, a nice break into the box area, and the referee
waves it away.
Disagrees and says, well, he came in charging, probably blaming it on Fools Russian and Molebiekwa, so just believes that probably should have been their moment. It was a very light touch, very light touch. He made quite a meal of it. I'm not even sure he was clipped.
Yeah, I think he should take a card for simulation there. Because if the referee feels that it was simulation, then he should take a card for it.
In the meantime, Hussein Balango having a couple of words here.
He's ranting at his players. Just take the ball away when he gets into the penalty area, instead of playing around like they appeared to.
Well, looks like he hasn't lost any of the fire he had when he was still a player, especially at Sports Club Villa, and now carries on the same fire to his coaching.
Yeah, and his side are also in action against Bright Stars as we speak. Still goalless.
In the meantime, on this particular day last season, the Startimes Uganda Premier League was live in Fort Portal. Beautiful game we actually had down there. This season, it's here at KCC, and it's a promise that the Startimes Uganda Premier League brings to you more games, more entertainment, and this season, we build stars. Live here on the channel that is definitely bringing you all the games, SANYUKA Prime, and you can definitely catch us anytime, anywhere on channel 238 satellite, 251 antenna, and yes, that part of anywhere, that's on the Startimes own app. 38 minutes of the game, KCC nil, Blacks Power nil.
Seems to be an injury to Chamera there. He was run into by the KCC attacker. That is Rogers Matua, and he seemed to have taken out 2 players there. with his aggressive play. You can see that the goalkeeper there, Chamera, seems to be one that was really hurt in the process, Tony. But you only hope that he can be able to run it off.
Interesting perspective here. That is on the SANYUKA Prime Twitter handle. By the way, follow SANYUKA Prime at SANYUKA Prime, just as it is. And very interesting perspective. 8 minutes ago, tweeting and saying possession football from KCC, but not too much happening at the moment. You hardly would be blamed with the admin. Clearly has his pulse on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't even know whether that possession is real and has been consistent, as he seems to suggest there, because I don't think that KCC has really possessed that ball as well as we know they can. I think it's been one bit of huffing and puffing kind of game.
Well, that will not derail the faithfuls of KCC, the likes of Kasim, the likes of Veronica, from consistently cheering. For them, the joy is seeing the Kasasiro boys get onto that pitch and get to do the business. 39 minutes. It looks like Tony Chamere is back onto his feet. He will be able to carry on with the game.
Yeah, started out his career at Express as a very young goalkeeper. Remember, he had quite some moments, some very good games, and also some where he struggled because he was still a young developing goalkeeper. To see him back in the Uganda Premier League at Black Spur, a team that he helped in the big league, you think that his application generally, the way he collects the crosses, has improved quite tremendously.
Well, Opio managing to bring down his mark, but KCC retain possession. Sama Arafat feeding it here for Brian Majuega. Slots it up onto the wing, and here comes a chance for Rogers Mato to advance forward, trying to sneak his way in. He's running out of space there, Osama Arafat, and that should be a corner kick coming up here for the Kasasiro boys.
Yeah, certainly putting a bit of pressure, but you can see that Black Spur continue to hold firm and holding out in defense and not allowing KCC to create and fashion any kind of scoring opportunities. And got to give them a bit of credit there that they've been able to keep KCCA at bay. And I think also, in a way, they've been helped by the tempo at which KCC has played, because KCC has really played slow, and that has made it a bit easy for Black Spur. If KCC would just raise its tempo, then you think that Black Spur could struggle to cope, and that's something that has worked for them. But you can't blame Black Spur. I think at the end of the day, they approach the game the way the opponent comes at them, and you've got to give them credit that they're still in this game. No goal conceded after 41 minutes.
Well, our eyes on the ground down in Kavumba telling us loads and loads are watching the game on the Startimes own app, following one side and watching the game live on the other side. I can reliably let you know that it is still 0-0 between the draw specialists of the season, Bright Stars, and Sports Club Villa, who in a way have decided to put back last season's agonies and the exoduses that they have had, including of their coach from last season, and have given themselves a real good start to this one.
Yeah, of course, I think Villa has started well. If you look at the wins they've had, they've already had 3 wins to their name and just 1 loss. I think that's a good return, especially when you consider how much they struggled last season. Could hardly fashion wins last season. So for them to have 3 wins and just 1 loss, I think 9 points is a good return for AC Villa, and they could easily build on that.
Daniel Otim going to the ground, but I beg the question, John Vianensinde, Baden Mujahid Ogama, have you seen him since he walked onto the pitch?
Well, hardly seen him, and playing right there as a winger on the right side. Not seen him do much.
Captain of the KCCA Football Club. Captain he was at exactly 8 years of age when he captained the KKL team that won the very first Gotham Cup. Benjamin Ochan, still in the business of leading from the back.
Yeah, of course, I think he's one of the most consistent players that KCC has had over the last few years.
The ball is brought in and he releases it out here very quickly. Starting it up here for Mustafa Mujuzi. Lets it roll for Kagawa, sorry.
Well, I think his name is Kagawa. He's just trying to make it, I think, sound a little
Japanese.
different and different. Japanese, yes, I guess that's the right description. But
Shinji Kagawa, Mohamed Kagawa. Oh well, who am I to begrudge him? Kagawa Mohamed. Ball taken away.
His name is actually Mohamed Senoga. That's the short name that he has had from his days at SC Villa and then at Toro United last season. You remember he scored that goal against Vipers, the penalty. Or rather, no, he's not Vipers, against Onduparaka, the penalty. So, and he set up the goal that sank Vipers in at the Buhinga, a game that was later reversed and points given out in the boardroom.
John Vianney Nsimbe, this season we go by the tagline, we build stars. Will you begrudge the man for rebranding to become a star?
Well,
Kagawa he is. Ball crossed in, looking for a chance here. 44 minutes of the game played and still nothing stands out in this first.
Well, I'll tell you something, Jermaine. You know, if you give yourself a name, you've got to make sure that you live up to that name. Now, if you're calling, if you're Mike Siu and you call yourself Baggio,
are you hearing?
And the performance you're giving the fans out here, and they can hardly remember. Then you know the kind of pressure that you're going to be carrying on your head. So players need to be quite smart when they are choosing these names that they give themselves.
Why would you invite the extra pressure by carrying such a heavy name? Why would I call myself the Peter Drury?
Exactly.
If that's such a huge title to carry,
precisely.
I am happy with being Jermaine Negesa.
Yeah, exactly. So you're calling yourself Baggio, and you can hardly dribble past a fly.
Well, Kakonde puts in a shot here. He needs no extra tagline. He has vendetta on his mind and venom in his shots here. And Tony, the goalkeeper here of Blacks Power, will definitely attest to that. In a very raspy, oh my goodness, that was a beautiful one. And any goalkeeping coach, Stephen Billy Chigundu, will tell you the goalkeepers hit those shots hard and low. It's the nightmare of any goalkeeper.
Yeah, definitely. So you've got to credit Chamera for the way he was able to pull it off, go down low, and then easily keep the ball out. Now, again, that's a problem with Bronson. You've got the ball, and your teammate is making that run on the far side, that's Baden, for the counter-attack, and you're holding on to the ball. And it has been his problem from all the time that he's played football, even at Maroons, and that's the reason why Maroons decided to let him go. And it just doesn't seem to be improving as a player in when you're supposed to release the ball. And it's a very big indictment on him. And yet he's a player that seems to have talent, really, in those legs of his.
Well, 2 minutes were added on in this particular match, or not less than 2 minutes will be played as extra time. It's the Startimes Uganda Premier League Match Day 6. KCCA Football Club taking on Blacks Power, still goalless. And the game is coming to you live here on SANYUKA Prime. Live and direct. And of course, available as well anywhere you go on the Startimes own app. Proudly powered by MTN, the official broadcast sponsor. As a shot came in there, nearly fashioning something from nothing there, had Benjamin Ochan scrambling. I have a feeling he wasn't sure where that was going. I talk about indecision and imprecision. Well, someone definitely has his marbles all about him and is making sure that he keeps the game to the count. Alan Okello has not visibly showed up in this particular game. The little magician not really putting in the shift here. Benjamin Ochan has had his moments, but to say that he has been tested would be overstating the point. For Blacks Power, they'll probably go to the dressing room feeling the first half was good work, and more of the same should happen for them in the next few coming minutes. But for KCC, why are they still goalless at this particular point? Big questions to ask in the dressing room. Big answers will be needed in the second half. Halftime at the MTN Philip Omondi Stadium. It's KCC Football Club 0, Blacks Power 0.